Am I the jerk for not wanting to move in with my friend? I feel like I should start at the beginning so everyone can get a full grasp of my friendship with Jessica, a 22-year-old female. I am a 23-year-old female who moved to a suburb near Seattle in 2021. I worked 3 jobs to financially support myself, struggling with student loans totaling $980 a month, equivalent to rent. I had a really hard time making friends and felt lonely and lost every day. I eventually met my boyfriend, but he turned out to be very controlling and toxic. After 2 years of mental abuse, I finally got out and moved to Seattle. I tried putting myself out there but was terrified of letting anyone in. In October 2023, I met Jessica Aita. We immediately found a connection and discovered we lived in the same neighborhood. Jessica helped me get out of my bubble. We would go out drinking, go to parties, and have deep conversations about life. Our friendship blossomed quickly and I was excited to finally have a friend. It just so happened our leases were up in the same month, August 2024. We started making plans to move in together, looking at 2-bedroom apartments since we both have cats and like our own personal space. As we got closer to moving in together, her lease suddenly was up in June. I still don't understand why the date changed. She lived in a 1-bedroom apartment by herself and wanted me to move into the 1-bedroom to save on rent. I really didn't want to do that because I wanted my own room. I suggested she do month to month while waiting for my lease to be up, but she refused. Jessica renewed her lease and made me feel like the only option was to move into her 1-bedroom, so I agreed. As the move-in date approached, Jessica started to change. She wanted all of my time and would get angry with me if I had any other plans. My time no longer meant anything to her, and if she needed me, I was expected to be there. It was all about Jessica's time. I tried talking to her about this, and she went on a rant about me being too sensitive and too autistic. Every day, her rude comments got worse. She would call me names and attack the things I liked. I tried to have a conversation about how her words made me feel like crap all the time. She said being rude is just how she shows love. I continued to put up with it because I really believed I wouldn't find any other friends in this city. Jessica's behavior hasn't gotten better, and I've had enough. I told her on June 26 that I do not want to move in with her. She blew up on me, calling me a liar and saying that I am the reason she's going to end up on the streets having to sell her body. She told me she's going to sleep with her toxic ex because I ruined her life and that I'm forcing her to live out of her car now, completely ruining her life. She is now demanding money so she can break her lease. I feel even worse than I did before. I desperately need advice. Am I being selfish? Am I the asshole? Block her number and cut her out completely. No one should ever treat another human being the way she is treating you. Take time to focus on yourself and use these bad experiences to spot red flags in future relationships, whether they are romantic or platonic. If possible, try to get access to some therapy. It could really help. Am I the jerk for moving in with my friends despite my girlfriend's wishes? In 3 weeks, I, a 22-year-old male, will be moving in with 2 of my best friends, a 21-year-old male, friend 1, and a 22-year-old male, friend 2, along with friend 2's 21-year-old girlfriend. I've been friends with the guys for 4 years, and they're now like brothers to me. Friend 2 and his girlfriend have been dating for just over a year, and I've known her for almost that entire time. She's not my friend, but we've never had issues, and she makes friend 2 happy, so I support them. They don't want to move in together in the usual sense, so the 4 of us are getting a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom apartment. This has been the plan for nearly a year now. My girlfriend, a 21-year-old female of 5 months, is very uncomfortable with me living with a woman, specifically friend 2's girlfriend, to the point of rage. They've met twice. We all watched a movie together, and then met again during a day trip. My girlfriend feels friend 2's girlfriend is a pick-me, and says that's why she doesn't like her. She says she doesn't like pick-me girls because her best friend is one, and puts her down in front of mutual friends to make herself look better. She also says she doesn't know or trust her and will never want to. If friend 1 had a girlfriend and they swapped roles with friend 2, this wouldn't be as big of an issue. She doesn't want us getting closer or friendly with each other, which I understand, but the absolute fury during arguments about this persists even after I agree with her. She's concerned about the little moments living together, potentially cooking together, and seeing her in pajamas. Explicitly, she outlined that doing anything with just the 2 of us, watching movies, cooking together, or driving her anywhere, is all considered cheating in her eyes. Duh. Why would I do that when she has a car and a boyfriend she can ask? I said I won't do any of that to help her stay comfortable because if we swapped roles, I'd be uncomfortable with her doing the same. My girlfriend says she won't come to my place because she doesn't want to see friend 2's girlfriend. Even me spending too much time there will be an issue. Why? My girlfriend's last boyfriend cheated. I've been cognizant of this, making sure she has no doubts about my faithfulness. She's convinced that I will cheat on her with my brother's future wife. I don't know how to convince her I want with words. When I mention moving, she gets so mad I'm better off avoiding the topic. She asked me to not bring it up, and once I move, to not talk about my life there. I don't want to choose between my friends and my girlfriend because of this. I love my brothers and intend on marrying this woman, but we can't get past this issue. Again, this has been the plan for a year. I live in a broken home and can't afford to move out unless I share with 3 others. She didn't tell me she was uncomfortable until the day before we planned on signing the lease, about 2 months ago. I signed anyway because I needed to move for my health. This has been a non-stop argument ever since, and I'm out of ideas, so I'm turning to Reddit hoping you all will know how I can make this better. Do I not know how to make the best of a bad situation, or am I the asshole? You did nothing wrong here. She doesn't get to control your life because someone else cheated on her. It is easier to find a new girlfriend than good friends, and she is not your keeper. She is showing you that your needs are not important to her and is more concerned about punishing you for imagined transgressions. She has shown you that she is not a good girlfriend. Move on and find a new one. Am I the jerk for moving my family for my job? I am in a very specialized and lucrative profession. So is my wife. We have been married for 7 years as of this past May, and were together for 3 years before our wedding. When we met, we were already both in our respective professions. I know my profession has not been easy on her. It requires constant travel and sometimes longer trips overseas. I've always come home and made it work professionally for as long as possible, while I didn't have to go elsewhere for work. The pay for the work nearby, which is over 50 miles away, is a fraction of what I get paid for actually doing my job, where there is real work to be done. After 10 years of being together, we have both excelled in our professions. She has never had to travel for work, and I always have. Where we are right now is that after I return home from this, I have a position in my profession that will allow me to never have to travel again. The only problem is that it isn't near home. We have to move. It would mean I can continue to work professionally, and she could as well, and never have to go elsewhere to continue to advance. Home and work would be in the same place. I will also be making enough that she won't have to work right away once we move. This will give her time to settle in, look for jobs on her own time, and get to know the area. She wants to return to work, but it's nice that we won't be in dire straits for her to contribute financially. However, all she wants to do now is tell me how narcissistic I am, and how I am forcing her to leave everything behind for my job. She says that I am putting my job first, and my family second. She has told me this with animosity at least 50 times. She is packing the house and planning to move, but she is torturing my mind and soul about this whole thing. At the same time, she has constantly complained about how none of our family or friends have been there for her. Her family lives 4 hours away, and mine is 1 hour away. Friends from life, work, or church have also not been there for her, but she is holding it against me that I am making her leave all that behind. I don't know what to do or say anymore. She makes me feel absolutely insane and helpless. All I want is to have my family with me and be able to do my job so I can continue to take care of us and give us the life we want. Now I can, and she is acting like I am her sworn mortal enemy. Please help. I really don't know what to say to put her in a better mental state about all this. I am also lost as to why she is making it so torturous on me. It doesn't make any sense. It's like she is trying to sabotage the entire plan, but somehow make it my fault, because I lost composure dealing with the nonsense of all her irrational emotions. I have tried extremely hard to be patient, but I am at a point where I just completely shut down and let her tear me apart. I have no idea what else to do about it. It sounds like there's a lot of built-up resentment on both sides. Instead of communicating openly, both of you seem to be getting passive-aggressive, which isn't helping. Moving could offer professional stability, but it's crucial to consider what she wants too. Couples therapy might be a good step to take before moving to ensure the marriage can survive this transition. Am I the jerk for not wanting to take care of my mom's dog? To start this off, I love animals. I have had dogs my whole life and have taken care of them my whole life. I would never ignore an animal if it needed help, especially my own. About 3 to 4 years ago, my dog died, the last of my 2 childhood dogs. My mom then decided she needed a buddy and felt empty at home. She decided to get my current dog. I was not necessarily happy about her getting him, and neither was my dad, but I accepted him as my own, and he grew on me like any dog does. 1 to 2 months after getting him, he became paralyzed in his hind legs. It was devastating seeing him just drag himself randomly, and we had never dealt with it before. We got him situated with wheels and all that. Time goes on, and he gets older. He is probably around 11 to 12 years old now. This is where it gets really annoying to me. My parents recently split up, still living in the same house, and I live here as well, so I am just kind of stuck in the middle. Neither of them comes home very often, and lo and behold, I am the only one to take care of the dog. I do not mind usually if I need to feed him and clean him up, but to fully take over his breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and hanging out with him for more than 5 minutes is challenging. It is really hard to get close to my dog because I feel like he is in discomfort, pain, and depressed that no one is around him anymore. I have my own life too, and I cannot stop and revolve around him because of my parents' issues. It is thrown on me now, and I feel so overwhelmed and upset that he sits alone and helpless all day until my mom comes home to feed him and then just leaves. It makes me feel like she does not care or want the responsibility anymore, and it makes me really sad. I have been dealing with the divorce hard as well, and this just makes me sad that he and I are alone together, but I cannot fix him. I cannot just spend all day like I want to. I just dwell on him when I am not home. On top of this, he is a diabetic and has skin issues. Dogs with paralysis have issues with bowel movements, so he sometimes will have poop on him, and it is stuck in his fur for however long I was not home. No one cares, and it makes me so mad at them, but I feel like I should be doing it because I do care, and I feel like they do not. I do not know. You are not responsible for this. The poor pooch is not your responsibility and needs more care than he's getting. It really seems like she is neglecting him, and that's just not fair to the dog. If she doesn't start taking better care of him, it might be time to find him a new home where he'll get the attention he deserves. No animal should have to suffer because of someone's neglect. Am I the jerk for calling out a coworker in an email to the VP? I have been at this company for about a month, less than a coworker named Kid. He was hired because the vice president thought he had experience with the same job I have. He has admitted to me that his experience is just using the software, and not even in its entirety, not 75% of what my job entails. Now that we have been in the job together for several years, I keep getting tasked with teaching him. However, he does not seem to come prepared, nor does he reach out when he has questions. He has been known to give wrong answers without checking. Recently, he was given work that I should be getting a commission on. He asked me to review his work, but it was so incomplete that I had several questions. We met again several days later, and the same questions were still unanswered. After about 25 minutes into the second call, he makes a comment that I should get a pen and take notes. I suggested a forum where he could post one of the questions. He chose to approach the question differently, but after 2 days he had not gotten an answer and someone else was following up for him. I was copied on the email, so I posted to the forum and had the answer in less than 10 minutes. We are now another week past this point and he meets with another person, B. Initially, this meeting was intended to get the answer to the forum post, which he was copied on. Following that meeting, which I was not included in, I get copied on his work that needs to be estimated. I have more questions than before and his own notes seem to contradict his report. I have enough at this point. I have my own work to do, upcoming vacation and holiday, no room for babysitting in my schedule. There is a vice president, the same vice president who hired him, on this email and a mock-up of what he has been working on. So I did a reply, all enlisted over 10 questions. The first few were, did you confirm with, making it clear that we already had talked about those items. I tried to be polite and I think I was politically correct, but I am not interested in one-on-one mentoring Kid any longer. I could have done the work myself in less time than it took me to critique it the first time. Now he wants to schedule another meeting to review again. I hope that the vice president actually reviews the quality of his work. He was over budget a long time ago on this one task. Am I the asshole for keeping the vice president on copy? I don't want to see Kid get fired or anything. Or maybe I would be the asshole if he does get fired. You haven't done anything wrong. It's his work for his commission, and you've already spent more time helping him than it would have taken to do it yourself. Management can't fix the problem if no one lets them know about it, so by all means, let the VP know that their superstar with the impressive resume can't do the work. He really shouldn't be your mentee if you're only a month his junior. Let him succeed or fail on his own merits. Am I the jerk for having a fight with my spouse because they still talk to their old coworker? 2 years ago, my husband, a 25-year-old male, met a now former coworker, a 25-year-old female. They almost immediately started texting frequently, and he referred to her as a female version of himself. At that time, he was working with her for 8-10 hours a day and texting her a lot when he was home. I told him that I felt uncomfortable with the amount of texting, and he said he understood and cut back a little. A major event happened where she got into an accident in the middle of the night and called him first. My husband immediately drove to her and stayed the whole night until morning. He did inform me before he went. I wasn't okay with the situation. I may have overreacted, but I still don't understand why she called him, why he picked up her call at 2 a.m., and why he stayed all night until around 7 a.m. We had a major fight, and I told him that I wasn't comfortable with him having any private contact with her anymore. He didn't understand, and therefore didn't respect that, and continued texting with her behind my back. Keep in mind that at this point I had trust issues because he had previously cheated by only texting on Snapchat, including sending and receiving nudes with another girl. I had a depressive episode at that time and forgave him as it wasn't easy for him either. They kept in contact, and it got to the point where she was giving him random little gifts. These gifts included chocolate, gaming items, and anime stuff. I really didn't like that, and after talking with my husband, he sent her a text asking her not to give him any more gifts. I never liked their private contact, but it continued as he said I shouldn't keep him from having friends. I really couldn't stand the idea of them being friends. I do not know if I overreacted. Fast forward to April, we moved to another city, and my husband got a new job. We agreed to give our relationship a fresh start. Today I found out that he is still texting with her. There were a lot of messages between them, although I didn't read them. He had promised to cut contact with her as we restarted our relationship. Now I am hurt, feel disrespected, and am mad at him. I actually don't know what to do. He says that he didn't think it was that bad as he just texted with her again after a long time. He understands that I am mad, but I don't think that he will stop. Am I overreacting? Am I the asshole? As hard as I try to be okay with it, every single part of me is against it, and I just can't accept it. you are not in the wrong. His behavior is ridiculous on many levels, especially picking up her call at 2 a.m. and spending the night rescuing her. It sounds like he's more emotionally invested in the relationship with her than he is with you, and he's trying to tell you who he really is. When people show you who they are, believe them. End it, or you're just going to keep having your feelings invalidated. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.